Have you ever heard of a coaching legend making a move so petty, so unusual that it left fans and analysts wondering if his legacy had finally taken a strange turn? Well, that's exactly what's happening right now with Bill Belichick, the man who brought 6 Super Bowls to New England, the man who once stood as the gold standard of coaching brilliance, is now making headlines for banning New England Patriots scouts from North Carolina practices. Yes, you heard that right. Belichick himself confirmed it in a press conference. And the ripple effect across the NFL world is impossible to ignore. This isn't just another headline about Belichick's stubbornness or his history of doing things differently. This is a story that cuts to the very core of how teams operate, how scouting builds the future of a franchise, and how personal grudges can shape professional decisions. Belichick admitted it himself. If he isn't welcome in North Carolina's facilities, then their people aren't welcome around his either. It's tit for tat, it's retaliation, and it's turning the spotlight on whether the greatest coach of his era has crossed a line that even his staunchest defenders can't explain away. Now pause for a second and think about this. This is Bill Belichick we're talking about, the mastermind behind 2 decades of dominance. The coach whose cold, calculated decisions made him a football icon. Yet, here he is, caught in a storyline that feels less like a championship legacy and more like a chapter of unnecessary drama. And here's the first big hook. Is Belichick protecting his pride, or is he sabotaging the very game that made him who he is? Because, let's face it, college scouting is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. Teams depend on these connections, on this access, to evaluate talent, to plan for the draft, to keep the future secure. By slamming that door shut, Belichick isn't just punishing North Carolina. He's punishing his own players, his own scouts, his own organization. He's creating a wall where the NFL thrives on open doors. And that's where the conversation gets bigger than just one man's grudge. 1 minute in, and here's what. You need to ask yourself, is this really about football, or is it about ego? Because no matter how you spin it, the Patriots gain nothing from this move. The only thing Belichick achieves is sending a message, and it's not a good one. Belichick, during his presser, tried to play it off as simple. He said, "It's clear that I'm not welcome around their facility, and so they're not welcome at ours." Pretty simple. But nothing about this is simple. It's not simple for the scouts who now lose access to critical information. It's not simple for the players who may now be overlooked, misjudged, or misunderstood in the draft process. And it's definitely not simple for the reputation of a coach who, at this stage in his career, should be celebrating his monumental legacy, not tarnishing it with headlines about pettiness. Here's where the hook sharpens. NFL owners are watching, general managers are watching. Every executive who might have once thought about bringing Belichick back into the fold someday is now seeing a man who has allowed personal disputes to interfere with the business of football. And if there's one thing this league doesn't forgive, it's when personal grudges threaten professional results. Think about what that means. Belichick's ban doesn't just close a door in Chapel Hill, it closes a door in his own career. He's already been accused of being difficult, of running organizations his way and only his way. But now, with this move, he's giving ammunition to those who argue he's out of touch with the modern game, out of step with collaboration, and out of chances to return. And here's the re-engagement hook as we close the second minute. What does this mean for Belichick's legacy? Because when people look back, will they remember the 6 Lombardi trophies? Or will they remember the coach who, instead of walking off into the sunset, picked fights and built fences that didn't need to exist? That's the real tension in this story. It's not just about North Carolina. It's about the ripple effect of decisions made in pride, in anger, or in frustration. And that ripple could carry farther than Belichick realizes. Asterisk, and here's where this story gets even more fascinating. Belichick's move isn't happening in a vacuum. Around the league, scouts, coaches, and even players are scratching their heads. They know how important these relationships are. They know that college programs and NFL teams thrive when there's mutual respect and trust. By shutting down access, Belichick isn't just drawing a line in the sand. He's risking the Patriots' ability to stay competitive in future drafts. Imagine being a young athlete at North Carolina, dreaming of the NFL, and now realizing that one of the league's most historic franchises might never see you at your best. That's not just unfair to the team. It's unfair to the players themselves. The fallout could last years, and here's the hook that drives it home. Belichick built his empire on preparation, on being more detailed and more connected than anyone else. Now, he's cutting off his own access, weakening the very system that made him unstoppable. It's almost unthinkable, but it's real and it's happening right now. So what does the future hold? Maybe Belichick truly doesn't care about Maybe Belichick truly doesn't care. Barry cares as a luxurious texture and leaves a rich con-law/last. It's almost unsinkable to leave/law. I coming to complain/alack. Well, we excively/laugh. We expect up, we expend me conslice. By we a quiet, so why it sit, couside, by we a size. But with the lad it. But it's in a gusset, it's if it's come I go seeks it to me it is sick it is I ka discuss to skupata to kubit to goes it to the gussin it's sit to it doc skaklet with the and to be is the state to take neat it and it's a capacity to be this is that is well this be returning to the NFL. Maybe he's comfortable making enemies and rewriting the end of his career on his own terms. But make no mistake, moves like this will define his post-Patriots image far more than any past Super Bowl glory. At the end of the day, history remembers not just what you win, but how you carry yourself when the winning is over. For Bill Belichick, the clock is still ticking, but his latest play might be remembered as a fumble he never had to make.